Okay, so let's start with our tasks today, which is on teaching and learning, just reviewing those ideas about teaching and learning. So, as we know, there are three types of goji. Now, we're starting off, of course, with the general one we all know, pedagogy. So we all know pedagogy, so let's take a look at that. Pedagogy, notice pedagogy, some people say pedagogy, stress on the first syllable. This generally refers to, well, two things. Either the general teaching, all kinds of theory behind teaching and learning, but also teaching and learning for children, mainly children. Here we are, so children, so balloon, lollipop, and other kinds of ped words. We have the pediatrician, teacher, a doctor for children and babies. Quite different, of course, from a foot doctor. That's different. So you have those ped words, same root, meaning for children. So that's our basic first pedagogy. But about 35 years ago, Malcolm Knowles coined a different term, andragogy. Of course, andragogy, our second goji. Coined the term andragogy. This is to do with the teaching of adults. It recognises the fact that adults learn in a different way to how children learn. And because of this, we need to teach them a little bit differently. So there's a different theory between the teaching of adults and children. So there, of course, is andragogy. Here we are. Andragogy, generally teaching of adults. Of course, here's someone in a hat and a little briefcase and mobile phone. And of course, the "an" part comes from the Greek word for man. Another word like android, you have an automaton of a human. So this is our second type of goji, recognizing that different techniques are necessary, and indeed that adults learn in different ways. If we think about how adults learn their experience of life, it's very important to make connections with their actual life, their real life, to help them structure their learning. And that's really what's going on here. So that's our second one. Our third goji, thinking maybe an extension about how adults learn. If adults want to learn well, if they really want to do well, they need to choose to learn. They want to have that volition, they need that volition. They want to learn. So taking that into account, learners need to direct their own learning. And that's where we come to our next one. Our heutagogy, or heutagogy, as some people call it, heutagogy. There we are. Heutagogy, relating to self-directed learning. And we can direct learning ourselves, we can direct the method, the medium, the mode, the approach, and indeed the time. We structure it ourselves. And this really is what we might suggest happens in a higher educational setting often, where the students have responsibility for their learning. They're not directed by a teacher. The teacher is merely facilitating, or maybe the lecturer, we might say, is facilitating what's going on. There's our heutagogy, as we know. So we might go on from this heutagogy, this idea of self-directed learning, to our fourth newer goji. It's rather an extension of that. It's techno-heutagogy, which includes the idea of the influence of computers and technology in our learning. Technology may be a little more advanced than overhead projector, Web 2 technology, your iPads, your Android phones, that kind of thing. And using that to direct our learning, blended learning, if you like, or variations of distance learning. So there are gojis. Now, at this point, it might be a good idea to focus a few questions. Is it necessary to split these categories up? Is it necessary to talk about pedagogy, and andragogy, and heutagogy, and so on? Are all of these can we not just call these all teaching and learning? Is it helpful to separate these gojis? If we are going to separate them, what is the difference between andragogy and heutagogy? Is heutagogy just not subsumed as a good feature of andragogy? If we want adults to learn well, are we not going to get them to analyse things themselves? Are we not going to direct them? This is the question. Okay, thank you. Your questions now in groups. Thank you very much.